Am I live? Am I live? I mean, I should be live right now. I mean, the fucking gimmick on here is going. The button's live. Couple people are in the chat. Let me see if they are. They should be. Alright, only 2 people are in the chat. Whoop-de-fucking-do. But you know what? I don't give a shit. I am going to come on here. I'm going to talk with you all for a few minutes anyway, just because I feel like it. And here I am, and my goddamn camera isn't even fucking on. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly presents to you your current WWE Tag Team Champions, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, and Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. Well, hello everybody. How's it going? Everybody doing shitty good? Because I am as well, which means I am doing very well. I'm not even into what the main discussion is about the video, and I already need a goddamn fucking drink of water. Where's your tag team partner, you dumb shit? I don't have a tag team partner right now. I don't fucking need one at the moment. Unless if you want to come on here, I can send the fucking link. But that's your choice, not mine, because this is my show, my fucking video, and I'm allowed to do what I want to do. So I know it's unplanned that I'm live. Why am I on here? Because I got nothing else to fucking do right now at the very moment. I'm bored. I got nothing to do. I mean, the videos are already fucking edited up, ready to go. I mean, I could be doing that right now, but I don't feel like it. So here I am, giving you all a little discussion about a particular topic that just came to mind, because the other night, I went to the mall. And I was doing a little shopping, a little browsing, a little inspecting of what kind of shit they had over at Barnes & Nobles. Now, the thing that kind of got my attention was over in the movie / record / entertainment / board game / toy section, where you got all the entertainment necessities, specifically in the board game realm. I saw something that caught my attention that I might bring, but I'm not sure if I will consider going back there and buying it, because 1, I don't like leaving the house, and 2, going to this particular place, sure, there's a lot of elderly folks, which is okay, but I see a lot of young people at this establishment too. And what I mean by establishment is I'm talking about the fucking young hippies out there. But in this particular instance, folks, there was this game that kind of caught my attention that I was thinking, you know what, should I buy it? Should I not? But while I was looking at it and fiddling around with my hands, it was just holding this particular game, and just the idea of holding the VHS box again, that just struck my attention. And I was thinking, you know what? And I was just having myself a little bit of an epiphany. I was having a nice little thought. And I was just standing there going back in time, flashback into all those years ago about Blockbuster. Because I was holding the little board game case. It said Blockbuster, and it had the whole entire I like canned peaches, thank you very much. You don't need to fucking judge me about that, cocksucker. But I was holding the board game, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I miss holding that VHS case. I miss holding that fucking clamshell. I miss just looking at the Blockbuster logo, opening up and seeing the movie that I am renting from this establishment, and just putting in my VHS player once I get home and just realizing, oh, I'm going to have myself a good time with whatever movie that I had. But the thing is that when I was holding it, I was like, God damn, I miss going to Blockbuster. Now, I've gone on fucking BOFAs. Either I talked about it or we've talked about it all together, exactly. The memoirs of what made Blockbuster such an incredible establishment of what it was. Just going into the store, browsing the movies, browsing the video games, seeing the newest releases, seeing the fucking snack bar that they had of different candies or snacks and different deals that you had and different options that you had, where you could have done like a buy one get one free, or rent a certain amount of movies for a certain price, or going in on a Friday night with your fucking whomever you had with you just to rent the movie or rent the video game that you want and just popping it in your fucking VHS player or your goddamn video game machine and just having yourself a nice little weekend. So I'm going to try my best and explain my own memoirs, going into such well-profound detail as best I can, hopefully to hear what everybody else had to say about Blockbuster all those years ago, and hearing my little, I wouldn't say stories, but my own point of view perspective as a young child, still in his diapers, from kindergarten to first grade probably, but still in his diapers, moving it up to the goddamn fucking boxes. Now, all those years ago when Blockbuster was still around, it was obviously a rising, growing chain for anybody out there. Before, you had all these goddamn streaming services that are taking over the fucking universe as we know it, unfortunately. I'm still in boxes. Yeah, I upgraded to different colors, except the patterns of my boxes are all golf themed related. They're all flannel of blues and purples and reds and greens and oranges and all sorts of different colors of the fucking rainbow. Asshole. But the thing is, folks, when I was young in elementary school, this was when around the time where I became very invested with Blockbuster. Now, when I was just walking around in my fucking underwear, minding my own business, my love for movies came about when I was watching a little film called Back to the Future. When I saw Back to the Future, it changed my landscape forever as a young little boy around, 3, 4 years old. When I was this young little child and I saw this movie on the VHS player, I was absolutely hypnotized. Around that time, I didn't know what it was that struck me about Back to the Future when I was young. Was it because of Michael J. Fox? Was it because of the story? Was it because of the whole entire landscape of taking a camera and filming your cast of characters of the roles that they are given, portraying in your said movie, giving you a believable performance? Or was it because I was so mesmerized by Michael J. Fox doing his own interpretation of Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry? Or was it because I heard The Power of Love and Back in Time by Huey Lewis in the news? Was it because of the music, or was it because of everything I just mentioned, all of the above right there? I don't know, but when I go back and look at those home videotapes and I saw my young self watching Back to the Future, usually I'd be running around sitting on my sit and spin or playing with that little fucking lawnmower with the goddamn marbles, popping around, pretending like I'm cutting the grass. But whenever I wasn't running around saying profanity, I was in front of that television. I was mesmerized. Even one of those little fucking ride-on little scooter buggies or bikes that I had where I felt like I was cool, I'd be sitting on that little bastard, and I'd be watching the television right there. I was mesmerized by whatever movie was played on the television. But when I went to Back to the Future, I went to watching films like Aliens, Predator, The Terminator 2, Judgment Day. A lot of the films that I saw, some were cheesy, some were not, but a lot of those films growing up, it was a lot of those old school 80s cheesy action stars. You had Arnold Schwarzeneggers, you had your Sylvester Stallones, you had your Dolph Lundgrens, you had your Jean-Claude Van Dammes, you had your Chuck Norrises. I can go on talking to you all about the action stars when I was young. Like I said, some movies were cheesy, some of them were just absolutely brilliant to perfection. Now, as for more movies that I saw that what got me influenced into wanting to go to Blockbuster, well, let's just see right here. You also had movies like E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That was one of the biggest films that I saw as a young kid. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Then you had comedies like Airplane, Stripes. You had Blazing Saddles. Well, I didn't see that until I was a little older. But you did have Spaceballs. That was another one. Escape from New York. You had Christine. A lot of these films that I saw when I was a young little child, I was mesmerized. I was hooked with cinema right there. But as soon as I got a little bit older, I was taken to a store called Blockbuster. And I was thinking to my young self, what is Blockbuster to be exact? I didn't know. But as soon as I walked in, because obviously, whenever you wanted to look at home movies, we went to Blockbuster. He grabbed whatever movies he wanted. And I was very, what's the right word? I was oblivious. I was very oblivious to my surroundings with this establishment. Like, I was seeing all these videotapes, I was seeing all the games and everything, but I didn't get to video games till maybe about a couple years later or so. But I was all about the fucking movies. But as soon as I managed to understand exactly what Buddy Boy was doing when I was in the store, I was asking, you know what, maybe if I'm a good boy, I can look at some movies too. So, obviously, if I did good in school when I was in elementary, if I had like a good report on my card, or if I did good on a test, or if I just had good behavior in general, which I tried my best to be, still to this very day, I try my best to be on good behavior. But as a young child, going to Blockbuster, it was like a big reward right there. Like, hard work pays off, or good deeds come to those who wait. So whenever I had to wait from the shitty days of Mondays and Tuesday, getting to the middle of the week of Wednesday, getting to the anticipation of what brings Thursday, then the day of Friday comes about where you get to enjoy the weekend, no school, no homework, if lucky, and you're just either home or going with your friends, or you're just coming back to your house and you just want to go to this fucking store and just have that anticipation of wanting to watch said movie that you want to look at or play said video game. Now, for me, I had a Nintendo 64 when I was young. But before I get to that, the movies that I looked at, because when I stepped inside this store, obviously everything was all neatly categorized from A to Z, and all the films that I saw went by said genre. Obviously, this was around the early 2000s, like way, way early 2000s, like 2001, 2, 3, etc., etc. And a lot of profound movies haven't even came out yet around those times. But I will say around the year specific, I'm going to cue it up on the computer here just so I can have visuals. But I'll just say around the year 2000, there was movies on there. You had your Gladiator, you had Battle Royale, you had Me, Myself, and Irene, you had Chicken Run. You also had Christmas films like How the Grinch Stole Christmas. You also had The Patriot, which is a film that I considered to be, it's okay. But I'm just saying films that were on there. You had Unbreakable, you had Castaway, absolutely fantastic picture. You had Requiem for a Dream. You also had Almost Famous. Folks, I can go on. I can list you all a bunch of great films. I can list you good films from the year 2000 that were on display. But the films that I was interested in were the stuff that came from the 80s and 90s, because as a young child, those were the films that I was succumbed to that grew my love and interest for cinema in general. So I was looking at all those categories and wanting to expand and grow my knowledge of these two particular decades, specifically of the 1980s, because like I said, Back to the Future is what started it all for me. But when I was looking around, all the genres were literally organized. You also had your horrors, you had your actions, you had your sci-fis, you had your romance, you had your coming of ages. Well, that fell under the romance category with the coming of age. They basically blended it together with the coming of age and romance. You also had your sports movies. I already said action and adventure. I mean, Blockbuster, what made the store so fucking great was the fact that it was neat, it was organized from A to Z. Now, the thing is that when you were looking at the cases, obviously, for my Blockbuster, you either had a mixture of the Blockbuster clamshell with the videotape that wasn't inside, but it just had the print of what the name of the movie was. Or you had, I'll say, for example, I will go grab a little example here of something that you saw displayed. And I actually have it right over here on my shelf. Okay. Now, sometimes whenever you went to Blockbuster and you wanted to pick out a movie, they actually gave you the visuals. Like, for example, you want to rent a movie like Ghostbusters. It would be on the shelf, neatly displayed. You pull it off, but instead of the videotape being in there, it will just give you the fucking box. So you pull the box off, you look at it, and you're like, you know what? This movie looks interesting. You got yourself a nice title there. You got your fucking cast of characters there. You got Harold Ramis. You got Bill Murray. You got Dan Aykroyd. You got the director of Ivan Reitman. Now, the thing is that if you were a casual film person who just wanted to watch a movie for your Friday night, you wouldn't be looking at the performers in the film, or you wouldn't be looking at the director or the writers and all this stuff. You'd just be looking at the title itself and be like, you know what, that looks good. Sometimes, if you were lucky, you would just go back and read the bullshit on the back of the box, and then you realize and read what the movie is all about, and then you thought to yourself, you know what, this looks fucking good, I'm gonna check it out. So you go up to the fucking gentleman and you ask them, you know what, I like to rent this movie. They give you the price of what it is, and they take the fucking box. They give you the Blockbuster clamshell with the videotape inside, all rewound and everything. And then you realize itself, I'm going to take this home, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to put this in the fucking machine and see what the movie is all about. So that's the beauty about looking at VHSs all those years ago. I mean, DVDs were a thing, but videotapes were the big top notch. So the selections, you had a variety of selections of different movies that you can look at from the 80s, 90s, and going into the 2000s range. I mean, just the selection was remarkable. You had so many great things. I mean, sure, you had your bad films that were blended in alphabetical order, but once you saw titles like Ghostbusters, or you can say The Color Purple, Misery, I'll say Back to the Future again, or you could say The Dark Crystal, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Big Trouble in Little China, John Carpenter's The Thing, Uncle Buck, Bad Taste, The Never Ending Story, The Running Man, I'll say Born on the 4th of July, The Untouchables. The list is endless of all the selections of films you had. I mean, so that's another thing about going to Blockbusters, is that instead of just one, if you were a diehard fan of movies like how I was becoming to be, I would look at the selection of who's playing and what. I would look at the movie, read the bullshit on the back of the box, front, spine, back, videotape, print date is whatever the fuck it is, expired like a goddamn can of peas, expired, you can't eat it anymore. So you grab the movie or you look at the preview. Sometimes you want to know something that I did. I'm not sure if you folks were like this as well. When I looked at the television, there'd be a movie that'd be playing on HBO or Cinemax, but mostly HBO. Now, it wouldn't be the full movie because obviously censorship and everything from certain words and edit out where the profanity wouldn't be in the film or whatever it was. Or you see a movie on television on a certain random station, and the thing is, you realize, you know what, this ain't the full fucking movie. They took things out, they edited the swearing that was in it. So either you'll go to the video store and watch the real film of how it's supposed to be displayed, or, I don't know if you were like this, you see the trailer for the movie being shown on your television. The trailer itself gets you inspired. Now, the movie is already out. Just to clear that, the movie is already out. It says out now on video home cassette. And the thing is that you see the trailer and you come to your senses, you know what? I'm going to go to Blockbuster and I'm going to see this movie. I'm going to check it out. And the thing is, said movie, I'll say, for example, we'll say The Silence of the Lambs. That is brand new. It's out right now. It catch your interest of what this movie is. And the thing is, you want to know what I also love besides the organization? The new releases were all right there, neatly displayed, waiting for you. It was either in the front or back of the store. Now, my Blockbuster, it was in the back of the store. It had its own individual shelf where, now picture this, you have a set of different screens on each side. It was a bunch of different monitors that were all jumbled together, displaying new releases of what's to come on video cassette at some point, or DVD, or it'll show a variety of different video games that were soon to come out. Sometimes my Blockbuster actually played music videos just to break up the mood of the whole movie video game theme that was going on. They actually showcased different music videos as well. I don't know if your Blockbuster did that, but mine did. But the big question is, do you remember the VHS tapes? Be Kind, Rewind? Oh, yes, I did. The thing is that I don't know if my VHS tapes had that Be Kind, Rewind. Well, the ones I have right now. I'm sure I got a couple of movies back there. I gotta do some wobbling. Hold up a second. I gotta do some wobbling to see if there's any videotapes that has a Be Kind Rewind label on it. No. Nope. Nope. I don't see no Be Kind Rewind on some of my videotapes. The Colombian stickers and video promotions. God damn it! Making a mess. Nope. It looks like some of my tapes don't seem to have a Be Kind Rewind sticker on it, unfortunately. I might have to go back and take a look. I'll tell you exactly what's back there. It's my fucking movies. That's what's back there. They're movies. They're fucking movies. Goddamn cucumber cocksucker. They're fucking movies back there. VHS tapes. So that shelf back there, that right there are films that I consider to be masterpieces. Those are, why do I have Tyler's comments still highlighted? They're masterpiece films on that particular shelf. I have various stuff over there, but some of the most profound films, they're on that shelf over there. So there you go. Yeah, thank God for the mute button. Go fuck yourself, asswipe. So, what was I fucking talking about before I got distracted by your goddamn... Be Kind Rewind, yes. It was a rule at Blockbuster to where if you went inside the store, the rule was you had to be kind and rewind. If you didn't be kind and rewind, because, hey, say, for example, you go in and you see a videotape and you're like, oh my God, the fucking tape itself, I have to rewind the motherfucker. There's other sons of bitches out there who probably want to rent a movie like this and not bother rewinding the whole fucking thing because some inconsiderate douchebag didn't decide to rewind the fucking tape. And the thing is, Blockbuster had a fee for it. I think you had to pay, what was it, $3 or $5 if you didn't rewind. I think it was around $3 something if you didn't rewind the tape. So I always rewound the tape when I was young to make sure if somebody else wants to check out said movie, it'll be ready to go for them. So there you go with that. But the thing is, all the new releases were on the wall right there. They were neatly displayed. You go from A to Z. And the thing is, it wasn't going by the genre of film. It was all literally the brand new releases that were out. It didn't matter if it was a good movie or a bad movie or a mediocre or a B film. It was literally all right there. And you had so many options to look through to see what film you wanted to check out. Visuals is what made Blockbuster so incredible. Now, when the family video was around, you had DVDs and everything, but nothing will ever beat just the look and box work of what VHS tapes had. Because the thing is that when you were looking at it, you pull it off the shelf, you realize, I'm going to check this out. Or you just go in the section and look at all the other films that had been out for such a long time. If I remember correctly, my Blockbuster specifically had a section to where it had films from all those years ago. I'm not talking about like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I'm talking about like the silent age to the golden age of Hollywood. There was a specific section where you had Oscar contender films or Oscar nominated winning films. There was a section with that, and there were some really big titles as well. Either the movies were very ambiguous and pretentious or overrated, as some of them I consider to be. Or you had films that absolutely deserved the nominee that they won. Now, the thing is, the Oscar section didn't necessarily have, it was not just Best Picture, it was also nominees as well for like Best Art Design or Best Visuals or Best Cinematography, Best Original something, whatever. It had a list of different nominees as well that said movie was either nominated or won a particular category for. But from memory speaks, almost every single film that I witnessed that was on the Oscar-winning section was all Best Picture films. It wasn't specifically of any year. It was all sorts of various years of Best Picture-winning films, even with the nominees itself that were running up for the Best Picture as well. So I thought that was a little neat to look at because, again, you had your... What now? Oh. But you had all your options right there. And that was great. Oh, yes. There was a lot of people who did not be kind rewind at all. A lot of those types of people, yeah. High art cinema. That is the key word. High art cinema. Now, as for family video and Hollywood video, now a lot of people had their preferences with Hollywood video, but for me, like I said, I had my Blockbuster. Now, to separate the pattern of talking about movies, let's talk about the video games for a brief moment. Sometimes whenever you wanted to play a new video game, just like the same concept, you had all your new releases, and you also had a various different selection. Now, my Blockbuster had all the games from specifically going from, I think, NES to Sega Genesis. But the most well-known one, since this was around the early 2000s, if I remember correctly, it was Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1. And PlayStation 2 was coming along around 2004. But the ones that I saw was from all the Nintendo Entertainment Systems to Sega Genesis to having the Nintendo 64 itself. I didn't necessarily rent games as much. I was going towards the movies mostly, but I had a time or two where I did rent a few video games for the Nintendo 64 Entertainment System that I didn't necessarily have in terms of my own personal collection. So as for games that I would, you can say, rent there. I mean, I rent games like GoldenEye 007. I rent Perfect Dark. I would rent Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. I would also rent, Mario 64. I would also rent that. Two of my games that I love, I love Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, but then again, if anybody knows me well enough, Banjo-Kazooie is one of those games that I just can't get enough of. That was one of the first 3D platforming games that really got me inspired of wanting to understand and dive more into the whole entire three-dimensional of gaming. I played Banjo-Kazooie first before I played Mario 64. Now, as for other games that you played, let's see here that I love. I mean, you had the Super Mario Kart 64, you had Diddy Kong Racing, you had Cruising USA. Everyone loved that. Yoshi's Story. What was that one? Help me out here. What was that one? What was that one snowboarding game that was a lot of fun? What was it? 1080 Snowboarding, I think it was called. Yeah, I think it was called 1080 Snowboarding, but help me on that chat if I'm correct there. But it was a fun snowboarding game. You had Wave Race 64. Now, you're probably wondering, what about the mature games like Conker's Bad Fur Day? Unfortunately, my Blockbuster did not have Conker's Bad Fur Day at all, and that was a hard game to find. But then again, you go there and you look at all the game selections for like Nintendo 64, and you realize exactly, Jesus Christ, I'm fucking lucky. And the thing is that when you were looking at the Nintendo 64 games, even though the PS1 games, you had so much different selections as well. And the thing is, when you had the console itself, the prices when you were renting both a video game and a movie, it was cheap. For like, I think it was a week, I think you were given like, I think it was $5 or $6 for renting at least one film. Or if you're renting like two, maybe one game, I think it went up there to like $10, maybe $12, $13. But regardless, the prices were cheap and reasonable. And whenever Blockbuster was doing like promotions on the store itself, where they had like a poster of like the new movies, or they have like deals going on where you can get like rent one or rent two, get one, rent one free. Like a buy one, get one free deal, or buy three, get two free. You know, they had those types of deals where if you rent like 2 or 3 movies, you'll get like one movie or one game free, or it was flipped, vice versa. You get all those different deals. And if you had like a Blockbuster membership where you get all sorts of different upgrades, different deals, different various things, you would get some amazing deals to where you'll get like free candy, or you'll get free popcorn, or you get like a Jumbo Bumbo box. A Jumbo Bumble box. You get one of those types of deals to where you'll get your little popcorn that you put in the fucking microwave, set it for the time. You get your popcorn, or you get like a pop in there, like a like a fucking Sprite or a Pepsi, Coca-Cola brand or whatever, or you get a water, but you get like a beverage, or you get yourself a snack package of a giant fucking big dinky pickle, or you'll get some miscellaneous candies that you would absolutely love and crave. You get like a Crunch Bar or Wonder Ball or Hershey's, Kit Kat, Twix, Butterfinger, Milky Way, Three Musketeers. You get all sorts of different candies in your little package for not only being a membership, but also the deal that you had with you buy two, get one free, or you get like a candy or something for free. Yeah, a Jumbo Bumble Box. Jumbo Bumble Box. That's what it was for Blockbuster. You had the Jumbo Bumble Box. Yeah, exactly. That's what the deal was. That's what the deal was at Blockbuster. Is that whenever you had like a snack box at a movie theater, you would have something like that for Blockbuster as well, to give you like that movie theater experience. But instead of going to the theater, you're getting it at home. I got a hairy chest, but you get that at home as well, where you give you that snack pack experience like you get at the movie theater, but instead you get it at home. So that was another thing that was great. So you go in the store, you look at the movies, you look at the games, you rent whatever it is that comes to your comes to, that comes to your liking, and you go home. First thing you do is you put it in you put the movie in your video player. You put the movie in your video player. Or you take the game that you want, you pop it in your Nintendo 64, you take the disc out of your PlayStation 1 game, and then you pop it in the system, and then that's what you'd be doing for your entire weekend until school had to come back Monday morning, and then your weekend was officially over. Then it was a rinse and repeat all over again for all those years, and then there you go. So there you have it, folks. I mean, there's nothing really much more I can talk about except Blockbuster was an incredible store. I had fun with it. I enjoyed the overall experience. I absolutely missed Blockbuster to no end. But then all of a sudden, years later, Family Video came about. And I was around for a little bit. And this was where you didn't have VHS tapes. You had games, but it was going into more of the modern settings where you had Nintendo Wii, you had the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4. Well, mostly PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii, the Xbox 360. Mine also had a PlayStation 2 as well, but instead of having VHS tapes, it was all about the DVDs and Blu-rays that were coming about, and films and modern technology with how you film movies were coming about, and so on and so forth. Then my Family Video closed, and that became a Dollar General. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So overall, I miss going to video stores. I miss the experience. I miss looking at the catalogs. I miss going in there, renting a movie for a small price, giving you investment into not only getting the film to your liking, but if you are someone who is a movie collector, VHS or Blu-ray, especially right now, it would also make you want to grow enthusiastic into wanting to buy the movie and look at the catalog and grow your own movie catalog, so you can have your own library, pull the movie off, and then you have it forever and ever, and it's all yours. Thanks to the help of Blockbuster for giving you engagement to said movie from renting it for a few nights. Same with a video game as well. You go, buy it, enjoy it, purchase it. Buy it, enjoy it, cherish it, the thrill of the purchase. That's what it was all about, thanks to the help of Blockbuster. So, overall, thanks to the goddamn streaming services that are now out there that are nothing more but a pain in the fucking ass, but I digress. Blockbuster is a memory that I will always cherish with everybody. I will always cherish forever and always love. And I hope you all enjoyed my little talk on Blockbuster. I'm glad a couple people came in to talk about these memories and have a nice little talk with everyone on this stream. So with that being said, folks, I'm going to get the fuck out of here and ciao for now.